Week 2 of the 2025 NFL season is now in the books, and now we head into Week 3, so it's time to update Chat Sports' NFL Power Rankings here. All the members here at Chat Sports have voted, and now we reveal the results here from our company's NFL Power Rankings heading into this week. Before we get into the content today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already to never miss our NFL Power Rankings videos every single Tuesday throughout the course of the 2025 NFL season. We also give you guys extensive NFL coverage all throughout the 2025 season for free every single day. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already to join the Chat Sports family today. So let's start with number 32 here and go down all the way to number 1, starting with the worst team in the league, according to our power rankings, the Cleveland Browns. Now, personally, I didn't put the Browns number 32. I think their defense is a lot better than maybe the rest of my colleagues are giving them credit for, but obviously an 0-2 start. Definitely you're going to be put down the power rankings at least a little bit. So number 32, Cleveland. Then you got the New Orleans Saints at number 31. Spencer Rattler has actually shown some decent flashes here throughout the first 2 weeks, but once again, an 0-2 start for this football team, so you're going to be put down the power rankings. Number 30, the Miami Dolphins, losing to the New England Patriots in Week 2 in a little bit of a shootout, but Tua Tagovailoa once again made some very crucial mistakes. The defense has just been absolutely putrid through the first 2 games, giving up over 30 points in each of the first 2 games there in Miami. Definitely not looking good for Mike McDaniel and company there in South Beach. Then number 29, the Tennessee Titans, and Cam Ward definitely showing some flashes, had an incredible touchdown pass across his body to Alec Ayamaner here in Week 2. That was really, really fantastic. The defense is showing some decent things, but once again, 0-2 start. Not the best football team in the world, not the best coached football team in the world. Still got a ways to go there in Nashville. Number 28, the Carolina Panthers, and the Panthers definitely fought versus the Arizona Cardinals on the road this week. The Cardinals definitely gave them a lot of chances to get back in that football game in the fourth quarter, but couldn't get the job done. Once again, an 0-2 start here for Dave Canales and Bryce Young. They definitely need to turn things around. That defense is absolutely putrid. Then number 27, we got the New York Jets. After looking pretty darn good on offense versus the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 1, a big-time downgrade here. I believe Justin Fields was 3 for 11. He also suffered a concussion, is in concussion protocol as we speak. And that defense has not played particularly well throughout the first 2 weeks, despite having Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. Definitely a tough start there for Aaron Glenn and his tenure there in East Rutherford. Then number 26, the Chicago Bears, completely throwing away a game there in Week 1 versus J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings, followed by a 30-point trouncing versus the Detroit Lions on the road. Honestly, I think that my colleagues have maybe put Chicago a little bit too high here. They have a lot of injuries. Caleb Williams has been absolutely abysmal through 2 weeks. I'm not saying the teams below them are any good, but Chicago is definitely down the totem pole at this point after an 0-2 start. Number 25, the New York Giants. Now, the Giants certainly have their issues. That defense has not looked good through 2 weeks, but Russell Wilson, 450 yards passing, and including a big-time touchdown to Malik Neighbors to give them the lead versus the Dallas Cowboys on the road with less than 30 seconds to go. But, of course, Brandon Aubrey happened, so the New York Giants weren't able to get the job done in overtime, but certainly showed some good things on offense here in Week 2. But number 24, the New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel and Drake May. Drake May's actually putting up some pretty decent numbers here through the first 2 weeks of the season. Now, they haven't played anybody really good defensively, the Raiders, and then, of course, the Miami Dolphins, not the 2 best defenses in the world, but Drake May is looking pretty decent. It seems like they're starting to build a foundation there in Foxborough. Number 23, we rank the Las Vegas Raiders here. A really tough performance for Geno Smith versus a very, very good Chargers defense last night on Monday Night Football. That offensive line is really not good at all. So once again, Geno Smith is stuck behind a terrible offensive line, just can't catch a break in that regard. Ashton Genty, I think that, even though he's a phenomenal talent and a great prospect, I think people are starting to realize maybe they should have drafted an offensive lineman to start build the trenches before getting their offensive piece there at running back. Certainly looks like it could be another long season there in Vegas. Number 22, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars. They do have a win under their belt, but certainly it seems like there's some dysfunction going on in Duval right now. There's that viral clip of Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence kind of having that little back and forth. Certainly not the message that you want to be sending out to the world just 2 weeks into your head coaching tenure. It seems like there's a little bit of instability there in Jacksonville, and that defense needs to get a lot better. And Brian Thomas Jr., I mean, goodness gracious, we got to get that guy going. Number 21, the Dallas Cowboys. The defense absolutely putrid, playing out of position very consistently versus the New York Giants. Russell Wilson was able to take advantage of that, but then Dak Prescott has been absolutely phenomenal through 2 weeks, going up against a really tough Eagles defense, and then going up just absolutely dominating the New York Giants. That offense, that passing offense looks pretty darn good, and even the rushing game is looking pretty decent there in Dallas. But are they going to be able to win a bunch of shootouts this year? I think that's going to be the big question that they're going to have to answer throughout the course of this season. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comment section which NFL team has been the most disappointing through the first 2 weeks. Let me know your pick down there in the comment section for today's pinned question. Just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today, and while I tell you about PrizePicks, go down there in the comment section and let me know which NFL team has been the most disappointing through the first 2 weeks. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor today at PrizePicks. And you and I, we both make decisions every single day. But on PrizePicks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Football season is finally here, and you better believe I'm going to be getting my picks on PrizePicks all season long, whether it's Thursday night football, Sunday night football, just regular NFL Sunday, all that great stuff. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in. PrizePicks also puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks also offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. And a new feature on PrizePicks that I absolutely love is injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return with an injury, PrizePicks will not count it as a loss. You guys can take a look here on my Week 3 projection for PrizePicks. I've already got it in. I'm taking the more on rushing yards for James Cook, the more on Josh Allen passing yards, the more on Tua touchdown passes, and the more on Patrick Mahomes passing yards. You guys can get your projection in now for Week 3 when you download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup on the PrizePicks app today. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. We got the Houston Texans here at number 20 after a loss on Monday Night Football last night, an 0-2 start. C.J. Stroud not looking good through 2 weeks. I think this team is averaging 12 points a game on offense. They switch out offensive coordinators. It doesn't seem like it's helping much. I thought DeMeco Ryans made some really poor coaching decisions down the stretch in that game last night versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going out with just 4 down linemen when your opponent's at the 2 with 2 timeouts. I think was just a stupid decision there from the Houston Texans head coach, and then the coaching is just not looking good at all. The offensive line looks in disarray. C.J. Stroud is missing open throws with a clean pocket. It's just not a good look for the Houston Texans through 2 weeks, and they've got to dig themselves out of an 0-2 hole here in the weeks to come. Number 19, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Steelers maybe have looked a little bit better than this 19th overall ranking, but their defense certainly needs to get a lot better. That defense was billed as something that was supposed to be one of the best in the National Football League this year. They can't stop the run through the first 2 weeks. On offense, a little bit of disarray there in week 2, but Aaron Rodgers has actually looked pretty darn good through these first 2 weeks. Jaylen Warren had a phenomenal performance, over 130 scrimmage yards in week 2. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Pittsburgh Steelers can do over the next several weeks with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. Number 18, the Minnesota Vikings, and maybe this team got better with J.J. McCarthy, now going to be dealing with a high ankle sprain. I mean, Carson Wentz is a longtime veteran. I don't consider him like a high-end starter or anything like that, but I mean, this team averaged like 27 points per game on offense last year and won 14 games with a roster that I would say was actually worse than this year's roster, maybe outside of the offensive line. But with J.J. McCarthy under center, this team has just not been able to get anything going. So we'll see if they can get healthy on the offensive line. We'll see if Carson Wentz can give this team a little bit of a spark, and we'll see if once J.J. McCarthy gets back, this offense can get back on track. Number 17, the Indianapolis Colts. Honestly, this might be a little bit low. I mean, a 2-0 start for the Colts. They went up against a legit defense in the Denver Broncos, put up quite a few points. Now, you can make an argument they should have lost that game, and Denver kind of shot themselves in the foot there as the Colts missed their first attempt at a game-winning field goal, but a 15-yard penalty put them within range to win that football game. But Indiana Jones there, Daniel Jones with the Colts looks competent there with Shane Steichen, who is showing off his offensive game planning and design prowess. I mean, some of the designs he's putting out there are absolutely fantastic. Tyler Warren looks awesome. They've got a good group of weapons. Jonathan Taylor still looks explosive. I think the Indianapolis Colts are pretty darn good, man. I rank them higher than 17th, but apparently my colleagues here at Chat Sports still aren't quite drinking the Indiana Jones Kool-Aid just yet. Then we get to number 16, the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals, definitely a pretty decent start for them for the season here. Kyler Murray is looking pretty darn good to start as well, but also I think that they've looked somewhat inconsistent throughout these first 2 weeks. I want to see them, maybe tighten up some of the screws, do some of the things that make them a little bit more consistent for them to continue to fill up the win column, but maybe one of the more underrated teams in the NFL right now. Number 15, the Atlanta Falcons. The offense hasn't looked fantastic outside of Bijan Robinson. Michael Penix Jr. not having the best start to his 2025 campaign, but when you have that run game mixed with a defense that looks really, really legit to start this season, that pass rush is getting after quarterbacks to start this season. I really like some of their young secondary players, and Billy Bowman and, of course, Xavier Watts from Notre Dame. They also have Jesse Bates. Man, they got a lot of really good players on defense there in Atlanta this year. Really excited to see what that team does this season. Number 14, the Denver Broncos. It's just kind of weird to put the Broncos are in front of the Indianapolis Colts. I know the Colts are home, and I know that the Broncos kind of gave them that game. But, obviously the Colts ended up winning that game. So a little bit weird that my colleagues here ranked the Broncos ahead of the Colts here. But, Bo Nix has been up and down to start this season. That defense still looks pretty darn good, but certainly maybe not quite as dominant as it was last year, which should be a little bit concerning for Broncos fans, but we have them currently number 14 in our rankings. Number 13, the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold and that offense looked pretty darn good against the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road here in week 2. Darnold looked decisive. He was making big-time throws down the field. He was converting on 3rd and longs. Kenneth Walker had over 100 yards rushing, so if he can stay healthy, that rush game might be pretty decent this year in Seattle. And that defense led by Mike McDonald, man, like that is a really good unit. And even without Devon Witherspoon on the field in week 2, that unit was really getting after Aaron Rodgers and that Steelers offense. So that's a pretty well-rounded football team at this point in time. Number 12, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. This is one that I ranked way below. I know the Bengals are 2-0, but they're losing Joe Burrow for 3+ months now. So, are we really going to rank Cincinnati 12th with Jake Browning at quarterback? I don't know if I agree with this ranking personally, guys. I put them way lower. I think that they're pretty firmly entrenched in the 3rd place spot in the AFC North in terms of the teams and how they kind of stack up. But 2-0 start. They're currently at the top of the AFC North. Jake Browning is a pretty good backup, and he's got some serious weapons to work with. I think that defense is going to have to step up in a big way for them to win football games over this next 3+ month stretch with Browning as their starting quarterback. And I guess we'll see if they can do that in the weeks to come. Number 11, the Washington Commanders. We saw the Green Bay Packers kind of dominate that Commanders team. Not a lot of separation from their wide receivers for Jaden Daniels to take advantage of, and that pass rush really handled Daniels' rushing ability. Now Daniels is dealing with a knee injury. We'll see if that affects his mobility, and if it does, that Commanders offense might be in a little bit of trouble here until Jaden can get back to 100% health. But they did beat the Giants in week 1. I still think that's a good football team that just had a tough ask in week 2 of going into Lambeau Field against that Packers defense. So we rank them number 11. Number 10, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, who are currently 0-2, but still crack the top 10. Now, the two teams that they have played, kind of a tough schedule to start, right? You go to Brazil to take on a tough Charger team and Justin Herbert, who had a hell of a football game. Then you play the Eagles at home, and he almost beat them, but Travis Kelce couldn't catch the football. And, of course, the tush push is an unstoppable football play at this point in time, so Kansas City could not get the dub. But I think most people expect Kansas City to still, be in the playoff race at the very least this season. Number 9, the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, hey, Mac Jones looked like he was born to play in the Kyle Shanahan offense. He looked super confident. He was super decisive, made some really impressive throws, and, of course, led that San Francisco 49er team to victory versus the New Orleans Saints on the road. But a tougher test coming up here versus the Los Angeles Rams here in Week 3. Very interested to see if he can keep it up. Let me know down there in the comment section, guys, who is the most overrated team in the NFL right now. We're about to reveal our top 8 teams here at Chat Sports heading into Week 3. Before we get into that, let me know the most overrated team in the NFL right now. Then we get into our top 8 here, guys. Detroit is coming in at number 8 after a convincing victory versus the Chicago Bears at home this weekend. They still got a lot of talent, and they put that on full display there in Week 2. Going to be interesting to see how they play against another really good football team in the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football heading into Week 3. Number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It certainly wasn't the perfect performance. You don't have your starting left or right tackle for this game, but it sounds like Tristan Wirfs is going to be on his way back. Baker Mayfield, absolutely fantastic. Final drive there to go get the win versus the Houston Texans last night. And that defense, certainly pretty darn good to start this season as well. Number 6, the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford is a wizard. His arm talent is insane. He's an incredible mental processor. He is still, a very, very good quarterback, a bona fide star quarterback in this league. And if he can just stay healthy, man, that Los Angeles defense looks absolutely fantastic as well through 2 weeks. Very excited about this Los Angeles Rams team. Hopefully Stafford can stay healthy. Number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert didn't have his best game last night against the Las Vegas Raiders. Some missed throws, but he had his usual big time throws down the field. How about Johnston, man? Big time turnaround for him. Big play threat for the Chargers to start this season. Ladd McConkey's looking good. Keenan Allen is looking like a hell of an addition for that offense as well. And then Jesse Minter's defense is absolutely suffocating, man. Absolutely fantastic team here in the Los Angeles Chargers. Should absolutely be considered a Super Bowl contender at this point. Number 4, the Baltimore Ravens. The only reason why they're number 4, not higher, is because they lost to the Bills, who are our number 3 team. But both of these teams, guys, very, very good football clubs. Probably the best teams in the probably the best teams overall in the AFC. I think most people probably expect these two to be vying for the AFC crown this year, unless there's an unfortunate injury. And then the top 2 teams on our power rankings both preside in the NFC. Green Bay is number 2. I personally put Green Bay number 1 because they have absolutely suffocated 2 very good offenses in my estimation in the Detroit Lions and the Washington Commanders in back-to-back weeks. Their secondary looks awesome. I don't think anyone expected that. Their pass rush is absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, they're doing a fantastic job there in Green Bay. And then Matt LaFleur's offense with Jordan Love, it wasn't even perfect on Thursday Night Football versus the Commanders. Some missed throws from Jordan, but it was still a very convincing performance. They're one of the more well-rounded teams in the National Football League, and if Jordan Love can find any semblance of consistency, this might be the best team in the National Football League. And then the Philadelphia Eagles, last year's Super Bowl champions, still undefeated this year, remain at the top of our power rankings here heading into Week 3. And I will say that Kansas City game and even that Dallas game showed that they are very vulnerable. This is a team that hasn't been able to throw the ball down the field very effectively to start this season. And certainly the defense, I would say, this year doesn't look quite as good as it was last year, but still a very good football team, still obviously a Super Bowl contender, and currently the number 1 team on our power rankings. So sound off for me down there in the comment section. Who's the best team in the NFL heading into this week? Personally, on my voting system this week, I put the Green Bay Packers. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. And let me know. All right, that'll be it for today's edition of NFL Daily and this week's NFL Power Rankings from us here at Chat Sports. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, peace out.